Hi there, everyone. Gunnar here. I'm back after a few days where I haven't been vlogging at all, mainly because I've been sort of busy trying to get um, all the replies to all you guys that wished me happy birthday for my 60th birthday the other day, last Saturday. I still have a few to go, but I'm almost done. So thank you so much for that. And I've reached out to most of you. I've shared the link to the Satipo Road project as well. And very grateful to everyone that has been donating to the project this last week, and those that have done that before as well. We have now raised it's about $500. So there's still improvements to be done. We still need to. Well, I think I've calculated around $5,000 to $7,000 in all to run the project. But we will we will start with the pilot trip as soon as we're able to travel locally here in Peru. And so that was a little bit what I wanted to tell you about today, because there's some news about traveling in Peru that just was just published, and it does not look that good for Peru right now. We They have still not set a date for when they will be opening up for international travel, and the Junin department, where the Satipo Road project is located, is still under quarantine. So, and that will be until the 31st of August. This means that we will not be able to travel to Satipo and the Satipo Road until probably early September. I also mentioned in one of my previous vlogs here that we have a confirmed trip for October 6th to central Peru. And it is early to say whether that will be possible to do, since the government, at the same time when they announced that the restrictions should be carried on until the 31st of August, also pointed out that they have still not set a date for when international flights will resume. So that we don't know yet. And I've been the rumors was before that they were going to start October 1. It hadn't been officially said, but that was more or less what we learned from the airlines, etc. That that was like the date when they were going to start. That is up in the air now, so it may be. Well, it certainly won't be any shorter than that, and it may actually be that the restrictions will go on through October and November, and maybe start in December. Who knows? Where we still don't know. So that was a bit of a disappointment, but yeah, the virus is still spreading in many parts. So they also closed, for instance, some of the airports that had opened already, the domestic airports. So Jaén and Cajamarca, I think, was it Jaén and Cajamarca? Whereas two airports that had been closed, and very likely it's not totally clear yet, but it looks like also Cusco will be closed. So no flights to Cusco. And that, I think, is a disappointment for a lot of people here in Lima, that was counting on, especially people in the tourist section, of course, were counting on that they would be able to resume some of the domestic tourism in the month of August. So I guess we'll get that clearer within 24 hours, because that was like an addition to the other district or province rather, in Cusco that has been locked down, and that's the Convención province. I told you that before in these vlogs, that we had planned trips to Cusco, but since all the areas beyond Abra Malaga would be closed, including Machu Picchu and all the birding that is down towards Santa Teresa and Quillabamba, all that area would be closed, and also the areas around Limatambo, which is Moyopata Limatambo, which is the road for the Apurima endemics, that was going to be closed as well. So it was really no point of trying to do these weekend trips in Cusco as well, even though we had lined up with Alex Durand as the guide there. Yeah, a bit of a setback, really. But anyway, what can we do? We're still at health here in Lima. Me and my family, we're all very healthy. All my friends, so forth, are also quite okay. All the guides. So as far as I know, no one has lost. Well, surely, I mean, there are relatives and friends and so forth, but nobody has lost their parents or very close brothers or sisters during this COVID-19 here in Peru. But there is a fairly high dead toll, and the numbers are very high. And it's even thought that it's just the tip of the iceberg, really, because obviously if someone comes in and it's already dead, they won't take the test on that one. And there is certainly, it's like it's calculated that maybe the death numbers are actually 3 times as high as they are officially. So yeah, it's not looking that great. The only positive thing is that here in Lima, people are behaving well, and it looks like there is, it's a little bit more openness, but people are behaving well. They are keeping their mouth guards and keeping the distance, and it's very lots of protocols in all the stores. There's no. There is a nightly curfew between 10 and 4 a.m. So there's like no parties going on, no restaurants and drinking games or whatever. That is still in place, and it will be all through this month, and that makes a lot of sense. I feel it's a little bit oversensitive maybe when it comes to the tourism, at least this sort of low-key tourism that birding is, because it's very low numbers and we're going to places where there are hardly any people. But it's kind of hard to make an exception just for the birding and the nature tourism, I guess. So it is what it is. We are still suffering economically, of course, and it's a pretty hard blow, this. So once again, if you have been thinking about contributing to the Satipo Road projects, please check that out again. And the links, you will find it all over my Facebook profile. And it's a good project, and it will get my guide and my driver a little bit of work and get us to start doing a little bit of birding. Now probably in September, but anyway, it's a project that we are working on anyway. All right, so in my last last vlog, it's not a podcast yet, even though I've been thinking maybe I should do one. We'll see about that later. In my last vlog, I was telling you about putting the baseline. What I forgot to tell you was that I also did some push-ups and some, chin-ups? Is that what they call them? Pull-ups? Yeah. I'm pretty horrible at that. I could do 2 well, and the third one was like, I got about this high. So I guess, would you count that as a half, or is it just like not completed? I don't know. You tell me. And push-ups were just as bad. I'm terrible at arm strength. I did 13 push-ups. Executed. I've learned they should be sort of straight, not out with your arms like that. That's making it too easy, but like this. And so I did 13. So that's my baseline now. So we'll see. I haven't done any more since, and that was on the day after my birthday. So, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get to do a little bit of strength training. But what I did do this week, I did a run test, and I was thinking which run test I should do. Maybe I should do a 5K or a 10K, and just go for it. In the end, I decided if I do 5 or 10K, I will be so sore afterwards because I haven't done any speed training. So I was thinking maybe I'll take that down a notch. So I did a 1K, and I had sort of calculated that more or less my final time would be 350, around 350. I thought I was good for 350 on my 1K run test. And guess what? I was better than that. 337. I thought I was pretty good. So very pleased with my 1K run test. It's obviously not on the track, so you have to take it for what it is. So it's a downhill a little bit, and then it's uphill again, one circle. The whole circuit is about 750 meters or so, and then one length of this rectangle, the longer side of it, made 3 kilometers when I measured it up on an app called Map My Run. Pretty good if you want to sort of measure up a route that you're going to run. You can actually put it also on fairly detailed satellite imagery, and you will get your 1K or 5K or 10K run. So 337, I think that is more or less. I did a run test of a 1K run test when I started running seriously again in 2012, and that was on the track. And I'm pretty certain, I've been trying to look out the numbers, but I'm pretty certain it was around that same 339, 337 or something like that. And that was also without having done any sort of speed training before that. So yeah, so I'm more or less at the same level now as I was 8 years ago, so not too bad. Anyway, so how do I feel after this test? Well, I can tell you I was sore the next day, very sore, and but I was sore in the right places. That was also a good sign that my running technique has improved. I was not sore in my calves and my Achilles tendon. As you know, I'm running barefooted, and that is sort of the area where a lot of, well, not barefooted, minimalist. I run with these Vibram 5 fingers, right? So anyway, so what you often get when you run with those is that you get sore calves and Achilles tendon, and it's basically because you're not running right, first of all. You're supposed to push with your hips and sort of get your sort of lift your knee with your hamstrings. So it's your hamstrings and your hip that pushes you forward. I read a good commentary once, and it was in a running forum, and the technique you sort of should feel with your hip is more or less that, well, if you're a man, so if you're a woman, you have to think about this, right? But it's more or less the technique you have when you're having sex, sort of doggy style, and so that's the motion you want to have in each side of the hip as you sort of move, right? And that will push you forward with much more strength than your calves and your Achilles tendon. And so I was very sore in my hamstrings, especially in the inner part of my hamstring, and also quite a bit in my glutes. So that lasted. I'm still a bit sore, actually. So it's 3 days later, but it goes to show I was using the right muscles when I was doing my run test. So there you go. If you, yeah. So when you go running next time and you want to make a new PR, think about having sex doggy style. All right. I've been listening to a new podcast with Charley Hesse and Ken Behrens. The first episode, it's called Naturally Adventurous. and you find it all on all the places where you find podcasts. And I downloaded that to my phone and listened to it today, actually, when I was running. And so in this first episode, Charley was telling us about his, well, he made a list of the 10 best birding adventures he's done, and which species these were. So he's got a list of 10 species. And interestingly, 4 of these species were from South America, and 2 of them was from Peru. So I'm not going to give it away, but there were some really great stories. I like the way they put this together. And the next episode has just been published today, I think. And I haven't listened to it yet, but Ken will be talking about his 5 sort of counting down from number 10 to number 6. And Charley did the same on the first podcast where he was counting down from number 10 to number 6. So there's 4 birds in South America and 1 bird from Africa among Charley's 10 to 6. So have a listen to that podcast. Highly recommended. And it was, I first found it on YouTube, but now it's also on iTunes. So a little tip, if you if you listen on your phone when you're doing other things, listen at 1.5 speed, or even a little bit faster if you can. It makes it a little bit better flow, and you listen to it faster. You can certainly, and you can do the same actually with these with my recordings. If you put that on, I also post these later to YouTube, and there you can also actually put it on 1.5 or to 2 now, and you don't have to look at me, of course. You can just listen to the YouTube sound and while you go on a run or whatever, right? So that's a little tip for podcast listening to be a little bit more effective with your time. Right. So what else? Yeah, last point here on the agenda today is 31st of July, and 6th day after my birthday. It is Anahi's, my daughter's, birthday today. It's her 11th birthday. So I will be signing off, and we are to be celebrating my daughter in a short while. So that was all I had to say for today. I'll see you here next time. Have a good one. Take care now. Bye.